So remember, I've got a sensible heat process going on in my pipework, what I can touch. Here I've got a latent heat process. We call it a latent heat process through my coils. 50-50 mixture would be a saturated two-state mix. This word saturation can be a bit confusing because here I've got saturated vapour, there I've got saturated liquid, there I've got a saturated two-state mix. Depends how questions are asked and worded, you know. You'll be fine with everything that goes on there. If we look at this metering device, right, you know I said it lowers pressure and temperature, comes through this valve, drops pressure and temperature dramatically. On here we've got this capillary line. Can you see this thing called a capillary line? It's only a small tube and it connects on to a thermal bulb, okay? And this sits on my suction line. And what this does, we say it regulates the superheat. Down here, this is a low pressure, low temperature superheated vapour. This bulb here, it's got the same refrigerant in as what's in the system. Okay, so whatever's in the system, that's the refrigerant. Say R449A, right? That bulb's going to have that type of refrigerant or that refrigerant in there. Now, a couple of things to remember about this bulb, because I just want to touch on a few things that come in handy, I suppose. You want that lagged. That must be lagged. I've showed up on jobs where, I promise you, I've seen string tied around them before. Cable ties. Come on, you don't want to be tying stuff up with cable ties. You know, be a professional. Get a clamp for it. You can get a clamp, you can get a thermal paste, right, and put that bulb on, and then you go round it with Armorflex lagging. Just lag it off, okay? And what this does, it regulates, like I say, it regulates our superheat. Is really not any different to a radiator valve, you know. It's just regulating that pressure and temperature going on. And what it does, if you was to imagine, say that wasn't lagged or it wasn't clamped, clipped down properly. Let's say you go in a plant room and it's hanging off of the plant room, which, you know, I've seen a load of times. If that's hanging off there, what it can be doing, it can be picking up, it's not now recording the pressure and temperature of that pipe. What it's doing is recording the temperature and pressure of the atmosphere around it. That plant room may be, let's say that's 20 degrees, for instance. Say on here, that pipe is -2 degrees, okay? Now all of a sudden it's recording 20 degrees because it's hanging off of the pipe. I've gone up in pressure, I've gone up in temperature, haven't I? So what it's doing, it's running now pressure up this capillary line and onto this TXV, TEV, whatever. There's a diaphragm in there and it's pushing down on the diaphragm. And it's like opening a tap. It's just opening that valve up too much. And what you get is you'll get too much liquid come through here, and it will fly through here. Now, you need to have a heat transfer. Same as radiators, everything works on a heat transfer. I can remember years ago I bought a house and I was skint, I had no money. Jumped above my station with this house. And I stuck in a combi boiler. And every year my wife would say, we got no hot water. There's no hot water coming through. At Christmas, you know, in December, around that time. We got no hot water. Now, I'm not stupid. I've been married 30 years. I'm not going to try and be tricky with her. All I said was, babe, sorry for the language. I know it's out of date, but it is what it is. Say, babe, if you turn the tap down a bit, that'll improve it. I didn't tell her why, but what I was saying was, if she turned the tap down on this combi boiler, it's got a plate heat exchanger in there. And what it would do as the water was going through, it would slow it down. So I've got a chance for heat transfer. Do you know what I mean? That can change now from a liquid, because I'm a liquid here. That can change from a liquid. I can turn the flame up on the pot, remember? And it can evaporate. It can start to boil off, basically, Okay, we use the term boiling off. So that's what can happen there. But what happens here is, if that's hanging off, it's pushing pressure down on that diaphragm and it's flooding. It's literally flooding. It's sending liquid through this pipe so quickly and through this coil so quickly. What's going to happen is, it's going to come straight into our suction, straight into my compressor. And what's the things my compressor don't like? Don't like heat, can't stand heat, doesn't like liquid. Liquid will damage it badly. We call this liquid floodback, okay? We call that liquid floodback. So that's what happened there, it just flood through too quickly. If that was to snap, on the other hand, if that was to snap, the capillary lines can get a bit brittle and snap. If that was to snap, it would close off that valve totally. You know, there's things, too much subcooling, too little subcooling, too much superheat. We go over them in videos moving forward. But I don't know how long we've been there. I had a little moan, didn't I? I think that covers it. Guys, you're going to have to get into a school and learn this. I've got to be honest, you can't learn this. You can't learn this off of a screen. Do you know what I mean? You just can't do it. You have to get in school and do these courses. F-gas is not going nowhere. Every building in the country, you're not going to be out of work. You know, you're never going to be out of work doing this job. You know, come down to my school, I'll train you, of course I will. I love a power note in respects, but go to any school. Don't sit back on the budget waiting for anything to change. Nothing's going to change. Every building out there is going to have R32, all of these different refrigerants, 410A, 407C. They're not going nowhere. Okay, anyway guys, have a nice weekend, because I've done this on a Friday now. Have a nice weekend, have a good week, get out there on the tools. Oh, one last thing, by the way, if you haven't got work, because I've noticed this on social media, don't get your mum to put up a post. Oh, boy's looking for work, he needs, man up, step up to the game. Phone up companies, right? Phone up companies, and when you get to the gatekeeper, the girl on reception, and you ask for someone, be a bit adamant. You know, oh, he's busy, is he? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, he's busy. He's always busy. He always seems to be busy, doesn't he? Can you tell him so-and-so, I'm looking for employment. I've put myself through an F-gas qualification or whatever. I'm doing this. I really want experience. I'm really keen. Please, can you get him to phone me back? You know what I mean? Put yourself out a bit. Or go down to the office. You know, actually show up in person. Just chucking out CVs. Don't do anything. You got to step up to the plate a bit. You'll have a good career, guys. Anyway, God bless. Ta-da.